Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. For a while now, dust collection on my chop saw has been really bad. Even though I have a 2-inch hose going down below, and I've got it, I hooked it up for a while. I had it hooked up to a small dust deputy and on my shop vac, and it didn't work too bad. But but you'd still get a lot of dust out of there, and it would accumulate behind the chop saw quite a bit. Matter of fact, here's a picture of just in the last day. And so then when I got the Dust Right vacuum system, I put a 4x2 adapter on it, as you see here. And it worked okay, but you still get a ton of dust out of there. And I had always planned, you can see this box that I built around it. I had always planned on doing some kind of extra downdraft behind it. But there was no way I had to figure out, I don't like having this hose down below where it's just jiggling around. And so I went on ROCKLER's website, and they had equipment adapters. And this one's model 2.5 to 4-inch mountable dust coupler. And what this does is, instead of having a loose hose under there, I'm going to be able to mount this on the inside of the wall, and that way I have a secure connection, and it'll just be easy to go on and off. But that doesn't really solve all the trouble. So I'm going to have the 2-inch hose go to the back of the chop saw, just like every chop saw, but they're never really that efficient. So I got a Y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one line going to the back of the chop saw, and then I'm going to have another one going to a funnel on the back of the chop saw. And then I'm going to close off a little bit of the box around the top and see if we can't keep the dust down. Anyway, let's get started and see what we can do. So right here I figure out a good spot where it's kind of recessed under the cabinet, but it still has room for the hose to click on. So I get this thing mounted up quick, and get it all leveled and fastened off. And then I really need at this point to figure out how all this is going to fit in there. So yeah, I need to proceed. I need to get the chop saw off of there so I can make room to get in there and mount this funnel in there. Now when I take off this chop saw, look how much dust. That is all from one day's work. And I vacuum this out every single day. So that was just from one day. So I clean it all up. This is the funnel I'm going to use. It's from PowerTech. And I force a no-hub coupling onto it. And then I use a 4x2 PowerTech adapter. And right here I kind of think, okay, I want to fit this right in the back of this thing. And I want it to be center so that the dust, because the chop saw is pretty much center. And I want it to have the best opportunity to take whatever dust it can into this funnel. So right here I get it all measured and basically just mark out the dimensions of it, and then I subtract about 1 inch. That'll leave me room to fasten it from underneath. And yeah, at this point, I figure out that it's going to fit okay, and I proceed to drill holes in all 4 corners, and then I get my jigsaw out. It's a pretty tough spot to jigsaw because you can't get to the back of it, so you can really only get to the 2 sides with the jigsaw and the front of it closest to me. The back side was just way too tight to get in there with the jigsaw. But I was able to get in there with a small sawzall and kind of clean it up a little bit. And yeah, I cut the hole all out. That's a little Milwaukee cordless sawzall. Actually, it works pretty good for cleaning stuff up. I took a sander and kind of cleaned up the edges and stuff a little bit just to lessen up any friction in there. And yeah, that works pretty good. Right here, I just get under there and get this thing screwed off. It was an awkward position underneath there, but it fit really well, and yeah, it actually it went up pretty nice. I don't think I'm going to bother siliconing it or anything like that because it's just a downdraft, and I don't think it'll. It actually sealed pretty nice, so I'm not really that worried about like gaskets or anything like that under there. Yeah, right here I drill a hole for the new hose and the power cord for the chop saw. Probably going to get a little dust going through here. I haven't figured out, not through the hose, but through the electrical cord area. I'll probably try to seal that up later on. But right here, I get it all bolted back up. I feed the 2-inch hose off the back of the chop saw. I get that fed down through there. And the chop saw I got shims under it to make it perfectly level with the top. So I use these fender washers to make it perfectly level. And it comes out really nice. So I get the chop saw all bolted back up. Right here I try to hook up the Y with just part of the flex hose, but it was just too wiggly, so I ended up grabbing a 2-inch Fernco band, and they're a lot more rigid, and I used that instead, and it was a lot more secure. Yeah, the Y worked good. The ROCKLER fitting worked really good. I got some PowerTech fittings in there also, and I'm surprised actually it did end up working really well. Right here I put a bunch of backing up underneath the box. I wanted to put a lot more coverage around the chop saw, and that's really difficult because the chop saw, it's moving up and down, and although I did manage to get the left side. You got a pretty good opportunity to put some coverage on the left side. So I did manage to get a piece wedged in there. But really that was the only piece, I tried to put pieces in other spots, but the truth was that little left-hand side was really the only spot that I could cover up without causing interference with the chop saw. So I just went with that, and you have to take your wins with your losses, and really that left side was the only thing I could win with. So I made it where I could just wedge it in there, so that if I needed to do a 45 or anything, I could just pull it out real easy and do a 45 and then put it back in. Most of the time you're doing straight cuts. So that's the piece that I was actually, and I tried to, it's funny because I tried to put other pieces in there on the bottom and the top, and it just would not work, because if you look at the handle, if I put anything on the top, my hand's going to hit it, and then down below it was hitting a bracket on the saw, so none of that stuff worked out. So I just took the left-hand side win and just called it a day with that. Right here I start chopping redwood, and redwood usually it shows up more on the camera, and the downdraft, it's amazing how much doesn't go through the tube and how much is outside of the actual dust collection, and it's going right down that funnel, and that was actually pretty impressive. I was pretty happy with that. You can just see, I mean, you're gonna get some just that sits on the deck, but for the most part, it's going right down the funnel. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Thanks for watching Outlaw Woodworking. All in all, I'm very happy with the double dust collection on the chop saw. Is it perfect? No. And can you make a chop saw perfect? I don't know. But it is, I do notice that I'm getting a lot less dust out of the front of it, so that's a big plus in my book. So the Y in the ROCKLER fitting is it's nice. It's really easy to use, and the nice thing is you're not jiggling around with it on the bottom. You just fit it on there, and yeah, away you go. I tried to put more coverage around here, but there was just no way because my hand, I got a big hand, and if I had anything there, it'd be hitting my hand. And then I tried to put something under here, but it would hit the back of the saw. So this spot was really the only thing I could cover up. And the nice thing, the way I got it set up, if I need to do 45s, I can remove it really easy. It's not screwed or anything. It's just wedged in there. So that works really nice. Anyway, chop saw dust management, outlaw style. Later.